It is episode 10 of our Minecraft video series, and I am currently standing in the attic of this massive house that I've been building in the in-between times since the last episode. There has been a ton of work going on this house behind the scenes. And I could tell you it has 20 floors and 500 bedrooms and yada yada yada, but to be honest, I don't even know what is in this house anymore because this thing has gotten so large, it has become out of hand. You can see I've expanded our fields quite significantly, terraforming this whole area, including several staircases that go up and down into our fields. And you can clearly see that terraforming has changed the shape of the landscape quite a bit. But I've also recently updated this map, as you may have seen in a previous short that I've created. On the left, we have the original before any terraforming, and on the right, you can see how big this house actually is and the impact it has on this map. Now, I would like to terraform this whole area, but as you may notice, there is barely a dent on the size of this map. There is still a ton of work to do if we want to reshape this entire map. And actually, you may notice that there is a bit of a secret hidden up in the upper corner of our map. There we got a 300, which represents 300 subscribers. I am trying to still acknowledge all of the amazing support that you guys have had and watching this channel. Even while I've been away, support continues to stay present. So I want to say thank you for watching this video, and let's get to work. So while the exterior of the house still isn't finished, as you can see with this deck over here, there is some need of work to be added to the detail, but the interior is put in. So I just want to show you a quick little tour of what we've got so far. So when you come in one of our front doors here, you can see this is kind of one of the front areas. To the right, we're going to have hopefully a garage where we can store some of our horses. And there are rooms upon rooms upon rooms with overhangs, decks, staircases that go pretty much all throughout the house like a winding maze. One that is noteworthy is our new and improved storage room here, where we are starting to finally create a proper place to store all of our items, bulk storage of blocks on this side, some miscellaneous plants in this section, ores, mob drops, and other items, as well as random items that we will be gathering a lot of in the middle. This section here is probably temporary, but I enjoy having a little workstation in the storage room as well, as I find myself coming back here more often than not. There are also several other bedrooms that I've created around some of the doors, which are just places where I can come to sleep when I need to get in the house and get to bed quickly. On one of the lower levels, you can see a door here has a bedroom right next to it as well. Again, most of these rooms aren't necessarily furnished, but I do have a few that I have started to put some stuff in just to make a bit of a nicer space here for me to sleep and for me to throw some items in while I am out and about working. Up the center of the house, I still have this massive spiral staircase, which is able to take us to all of the different floors, but I do also have other staircases all throughout the building. In the future, this will be our movie theater, a garage unit number 2, and just below that, garage unit number 3. This will be the bowling alley, and most of the other bedrooms and kitchens and spaces like that will just be places where there are room for all sorts of other storage and things like that. I really like the idea of unique rooms with all sorts of different cool features. And again, as I mentioned before, the idea of liminal space is kind of exciting to me. This place kind of feels like a maze, and sometimes even I don't know where I'm going to end up, if something's going to be just a weird little closet or a wide open room. And that's kind of the fun of it. You never really know what you're going to get, but there's always something else tucked around the corner. Obviously, this project will take a lot of time, and I will need to do a lot of furnishing to actually finish all of these rooms. But still, just the sheer scale of this thing actually blows my mind. I can't help but feel excited at the potential of what this thing could look like once we seriously get going. When you see the landscape from this far away, it really helps you to be able to think out of some of the future plans that we might have. For example, down the backside out of our double garages here, I might add a driveway and a road that kind of goes along this river and off into the distance. I've done a seriously large amount of terraforming already in order to get the land as good as it looks, but I do want to continue to do some foresting over here, maybe add some bridges and like a pilgrim's path that kind of goes all the way around through these plains. I don't know if you would be able to tell just from looking at this, but this plains section alone took probably a couple hours worth of work just to get it in the state that it is in. I'm not sure what will happen with the return of the other players in this area, but I would like to see these little villages expand and see what else we could build in these areas as well. We did have plans for houses along these cliffs, maybe new villager stuff up top on these hills, but there is so much potential for so much terraforming and cleaning up to happen in this area around this house alone that I'm not sure if the major part of what I'm going to be working on is actually furnishing, so much so as making the area around the house look a lot prettier. Again, I just kind of want to do the things that I'm having fun enjoying doing, so for the time being, I think that's going to be some more terraforming work because that's what seems to get me excited. And so we're going to just do this thing one step at a time and continue to work on this house even if it's taking me a really, really long time. So that's all for the tour. Thanks for being here, and let's dive into our first project, which is going to be to bring our to-do list over from our other house right here in this area. Okay, so I've just written all of these different to-do lists here in this notebook where I am able to write down everything and continue to edit it. And we are just going to head over to the old house here where we will go and add all those other things and try to check off as many of them from the list as we actually can. Yeah, this old list has been here for a long time and a lot of this stuff has kind of just gone to the back of the mind. And so if there are some things to check off the list, I would love to just get them done right away. Give Bear 3 golden carrots. Now, I don't have any golden carrots, but I think this would be funny, so let's just see if we can go do that. I have a feeling I may have used up all my gold, but let's just see. Oh no, we got plenty. Yeah, this is perfect. And 1, 2, 3, there we go. We got some golden carrots. Okay, and I know that this is his storage room here, so let's just leave it right here in the middle. 1, 2, 3, and we'll put a little sign here. Love Lotus, just like that. Perfect. So I think that will do the trick for us. Give Bear 3 golden carrots. Done. Now what else can we add onto our to-do list here? So cactus farm, I think, yeah, cactus farm. Then iron farm is actually already done. Ender, I don't have that. So we actually need to go to end and build the ender. And then all these other ones I think are pretty big projects, but let's just add them in. So railroad is done, blaze farm, and villager breeder. Now here are all our supplies that we gathered for our cactus farm a little while back, and I think that this is actually ready to go, so maybe I can find a cactus farm design to build real quick. But before we do that, there is actually something else that I am interested in, and that is that there are now, in the new snapshot, these auto crafters. So I'm not quite sure I know how to build them, but I think it's something to do with a crafting table and maybe some iron or something like that. Okay, so if we make a couple droppers here, 1, 2, then we should be able to make a couple crafters here, and perfect. So these crafters we are actually going to use for our slime farm and for our iron farm. Okay, so this thing is currently powered because that's a red light. And then this thing filters out the iron, and that thing puts them in there, and okay, so one got made. I see. So this thing only activates every time this thing gets back down to 41. Put 1 in. Does it activate here? It would. And then does it activate here? Yeah, so that means it made an iron. Ah, gross. Okay, so we don't want that at all. Yeah, so what I'm guessing is that these auto crafters are always going to try to create the first recipe that is available as soon as this thing is powered. So what happened was we had these 6 slots filled up, and then it got powered as one more iron ingot got put into the auto crafter, and so it just produced these iron bars. So I only want it to produce once 9 items go through. Okay, so I watched a tutorial on this, and there's actually a bit of comparing that needs to happen. We need to make sure that our signal strength is correctly matched with the, or compared with another crafter, which we can just click in the amount of blocks that we want. I'll show you what I mean. But first, before we do that, I actually need to go and get a new pickaxe here because mine is about to break. And so let's just run down to this spider farm and get some quick levels. Oh, nice. Fortune, efficiency, and unbreaking 3. So down in our slime farm here, I'll show you what I mean by our different signal strengths being compared. So what I'm going to do is I've dug out a little bit of an area here where we are able to do a bit of a setup for our redstone contraption. And the first thing that we need to put in is our crafter. So our auto crafter right here, the plan is that this goes directly into our chest. So first I'm going to redirect all of it so that everything goes through this one auto crafter. Then I'm going to take the signal strength out of this auto crafter and compare it to a signal strength of another auto crafter. So by doing this and using this crafter will only work, or this signal will only come out if these two signals match. And so what I'm going to do is by clicking each of these, I can create a stronger and stronger signal strength until I get a signal strength of 9. So once this has 9 items in it, this block will then be a powered block. So I think ideally now, if this block is powered, this redstone will be powered. It will come around and then power this block, which will then in turn repower this crafter. So let's just see if that works by going around to this hopper here and putting in a stack of slime balls. So the slime balls should get filled up until it gets to 9, then it compares, and then it gets created into a slime block. And I've reordered it a little bit, so now there is a bit more room and this whole thing looks a little bit nicer. By directly comparing these, I can just power this block, which powers that redstone, and then powers this, which powers this block, which then powers here our auto crafter. So by filling these up with tons of slime, you can see we actually have a lot of room to work with here. And the nice thing is that this double chest now can hold technically 9 times as many items, so one chest should be good for a much longer amount of time. Now I've done this in both of our slime farms now, so you can see here is the one, and then back over to this initial one that we came down. You can see here this one is cleaned up as well to be a bit nicer, and this thing continues to push slime through into slime blocks in this one farm. Okay, so now both the slime farms are set up with auto crafters. Let's do the same thing again with the iron farm back up top. You can see all this iron continues to flow through. It functions totally fine, and then it goes into this. But obviously, we have a lot more iron production than we do slime, for example. And so even like over here, we've got this automatic bone meal thing where it puts all the flours over into this composter. And it just feels kind of messy right now. So I think I'm going to have to rework some of this space as well, so that maybe when you come in, you go down a ladder or a staircase or something like that. And then we have a nice chest room where you don't see all these mechanics. Hopefully, I don't know, but this is working. So technically we can go check that off this to-do list book that we have right here. If we just take this book and crack it open, the auto slime farm, slime and iron here, that is done. So one more thing has been checked off our list. Nice. Hi. It has been 6 months since the last video, and I'm not even going to try to deny it or avoid it. It has been a very long time, and I don't have a whole ton to show for it. Kind of. I do have some progress updates, and I have been working on some big things behind the scenes, but for some of the stuff, it's a little bit hard to explain. You can see we finally redid this room and cleaned it up a little bit. We've got our bone wheel coming into this chest, our iron blocks stored here, and then our auto crafter pushing our completed blocks of iron over into this chest and working all functionally. I honestly don't have a huge reason to explain why I was gone for so long. I got caught up back in the summer working on some stuff for work, and then I sort of just slipped out of the habit of making videos. But as you can see, some people have tried to get me to come back and to share it with some of the projects that I've been working on. And so I want to attempt in 2025 to release a few more videos, to not let this thing die off, and instead continue to create lots of fun stuff. The truth is, I love playing Minecraft, and so I still have been playing it all this time. I just haven't been sharing updates about the stuff that I've been working on. For example, check out this whole forest is now kind of removed over here. Previously, when we were talking about the maps, we had said that we wanted to try and remove a bunch of this stuff, clear cut it, and do a bunch of terraforming. And so that is exactly what I'm hoping to do here. Focusing in on the top half of the second map in particular, you can see that this is the area area that I've been working on. That forest right there is the section that we were talking about just previously. And we had also mentioned that we wanted to build a driveway coming up from the side of the house and maybe going along this coast. That would take a serious amount of terraforming over on this mountain in the upper corner, which I may not have been prepared for at the time, but it has been 6 months. And so even though I'll want to show this a lot more in the next episode, I feel it's only fair to show you guys what I have been working on. This here is now the house from the other angle. You can see that we have 3 driveways connecting from 3 different heights. The double-decker garages stacked on top of each other, of course, curve into one nice driveway, and the one from up top where we plan on storing our horses and donkeys. We built this new retaining wall that fills in the whole area, and we're starting to clean up the land a lot. I really enjoy using these retaining walls, even if it gets a little repetitive and boring, but for me, it's a lot of fun to work on. And these projects take a lot of time, but they end out looking super clean and crisp. This road I plan to extend all the way over here, where I have been working on something a bit bigger. This retaining wall has taken me a very long time. And for some reason, why I couldn't really explain, I just continued making it all the way around the mountain. Obviously, some areas are more complete than others, with some huge areas still needing to be filled in, but you can see the general idea of this retaining wall going all the way around this mountain. Now, it's totally not necessary, but because I got carried away making it, I'm planning on bringing this highway road all the way along the edge until somewhere over here. And now that I have this whole mountain kind of cut off in this big retaining wall shape, you can see there's a lot of room to do some sort of fun building project on the surface of this mountain. We'll obviously need to clean up the rest of this wall and make it usable first, but then we'll have a whole bunch of land up top where we can build something very exciting. Perhaps this is a bunch of houses, or a little village of its own, or maybe another large building like this one, but you can definitely tell that there's a certain style that I'm going for. Where this all goes from here, or what this looks like, I'm not exactly sure, but one thing is that I have continued to work on this project behind the scenes regardless of whether I was making videos or not. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole bunch else to show you in this episode, but I am excited to get back to some smaller projects while I'll continue to work on this behind the scenes in future upcoming videos. Now, hopefully 2025 will be a new year with lots of new exciting projects to work on and lots of new fun videos to come as well. But if you guys are still here, I just want to say thank you so much for sticking with us. Thank you for watching this video, and I am so excited to be back at it again. Thank you for sticking with us, and we shall have some fun in 2025. See you next time.